Good morning, Arsene. Last game of the season, and a big one at that. Yesterday you spoke about the team news and said that Mikel Arteta had a small chance of playing. Have you counted it out completely, or is there still that small chance?
The chance is still very small.
Okay, how, without letting out any secrets, how might you cover that gap in your team? What options do you have?
I have plenty, plenty is maybe a big word, but I have a few options. I've not made a decision yet because I have to see how everybody responds in training, and I think I will make a very late decision on that problem. Certainly, first I have to wait, is Arteta completely out, and after that, how will I rebuild the team? We'll decide that certainly very late.
Of course, it's deja vu all over again for Arsenal. In this position last year, it was West Brom away. This time, it's Newcastle. That experience will be vital.
Of course, no. I believe more than the experience from last year is that we are on a very strong run. We know how to behave to win the games. So it's get that certainty from our long run and bring that into our next game. That's as simple as that. It's a football match, and recently we have shown that we can win these games. Let's just continue to do what we did until now.
You've got Olivier Giroud back, just lastly from me, you've got Olivier Giroud back available from suspension. He's fresh. You haven't had an issue scoring goals, but are you tempted to throw him in straight away because he's got that freshness? He's been out for 3 games suspended.
But again, I will decide that very late.
Arsene, hello. Did you always have a feeling this probably would go to the last day, the battle for a top 4 place?
I had the feeling that it could go to the last day. I know for a long time, but for us, when you were 7 points behind, we would all be happy that it goes to the last day, you know. So we are in a position where nobody expected us to be. We have our destiny in our hands, our fate in our hands, and that's what you fight for in the game. It's a game that, of course, we will now want to win, but at least we fought back to be in a position where we master our own fate.
I suppose if there's any frustration this season, is it the fact that you've taken more points than any other sides in 2013?
It shows that the job that the team has done is very good, because they have improved through the season. The players have been absolutely marvellous in their focus, in their desire to improve, and the results show that we have improved from the start of the season, from the first part of the season to the second part of the season.
What did you make of Alan Pardew's comments after Newcastle was safe, that he wouldn't care if they lost 4-0 at home to you?
I take that as a relief of being safe, you know, and you know that the reality kicks in after. Football game is a football game, and Newcastle will play their normal game. And I think you have sometimes to take a distance with this kind of statements as well. They have been under long pressure, and they got safe, so of course that is in the euphoria of being safe.
Small margins can decide things, can't they? I mean, last year, for instance, West Bromwich Albion, a couple of keeper errors probably got you over the line, didn't it?
Well, you have the experience of football like I have. You cannot predict what happens before a game, but every single detail can make a difference. But you want to go into the game and think you want to perform at your best, and that's still the best guarantee to win the football game.
It's been a terrific achievement to do 15 years in Europe. If you make it 16, fantastic. But is the real challenge next year to make sure you're fighting for the title and not fighting for 4th place?
Yes, of course. It's every year, but this season Man United won the championship very early, and we are not the only team who suffered from that, because we are not far from Man City, we are not far from Chelsea, and but of course Man United made a difference it was a strange championship, I must say, because they didn't look over-dominating this championship, but they were the most efficient.
How serious is your reported interest in Wayne Rooney as a potential target here?
At the moment, we have no interest in anybody. We have only one interest, is of course Sunday's game.
David Beckham's announced his retirement. Of course, he trained here. What have you made of what he's achieved in football, and how do you feel he should be remembered?
More than what he has achieved, I have a huge respect for his passion for the game, his huge commitment, his mental strength, because he was under a lot of pressure through his whole career and through his dedication. And I think that's where he is an example.
Just one last one from me. The Champions League final a week Saturday. Who will win it and why?
I don't know more than you who will win it. If you ask me who would be the logical favourite, I would say Bayern. Why? Because they have the experience of dealing with finals recently. They have a bit more maturity because they are older on average age, and they have as well a psychological advantage over Dortmund, because let's not forget they are 20 points ahead in the championship over Dortmund, or 22. That's massive. And so the logical favourite is of course Bayern Munich, but that doesn't mean they will win it.
Arsene, given your regular success in the Champions League, qualifying each year, do you ever think to yourself what it would be like if you didn't qualify?
No, you deal with things. Defeat can happen in football, but you deal with that after the game. Before the game, you focus on being at your best and give your best.
It's on Tuesday night. You gave, I understand, your players a bit of a rocket at half time. Is this the time of the season where managers come to the fore as well as the players, and managers have to stand up?
As well, of course. It's a period where the job of the managers is important. But anyway, I feel that a manager is always important, because there's always an influence on the team, on the results. But it's a period where you have, of course, certainly sometimes you have to see, deal with the nerves of the players and the environment, and that's a big part of it.
Is the pressure this Sunday as big as it gets?
The pressure is big, of course, but I always said that the worst in my job is to play games without any pressure. It's the worst. Sometimes you think, oh, it would be nice to have a game with no pressure. When you have one, you think, oh, let's get it back, because it's so boring, you know. So what would be terrible is that we go to Newcastle and nothing at stake for us. We have what we wanted, so let's just finish the job.
How would you sum up this season with one match to go, given that back in February, the media were making the point that this was another year where Arsenal didn't win a trophy, and yet you finished the season fantastically, haven't you? Not beaten since the beginning of March.
Yeah, you know, I just would like to say that no matter what happens on Sunday, I will keep of this team a fantastic memory, because they have been focused. They have gone through some difficult period, and the players remained always united and focused, and with a great desire to do well. And on that front, it was a fantastic experience to work with this team.
There is the possibility of a playoff if results go a certain way. What do you think about that?
I would fancy that. But anyway, if there is a playoff exists only do we win the game. So let's us win the game, and after we see what happens. The biggest task for us is now to win the game, and not to speculate too much on what happens after, because that's the first compulsory thing we face. Win the game on Sunday.
You're expecting a lot of goals on Sunday, because you had that 4-4 draw, didn't you, at Newcastle a couple of years ago?
I don't know.
You won 7-4.
I don't know. That's a kind of game where you can have many goals. It's a kind of game, of course, it could be very open, because we have a good offensive potential. and they play for the first time, certainly for a long time, without any negative pressure. So we have, of course, we need a good defensive performance.
And just one final question for me about David Beckham. Were you ever close to or interested in signing him?
Yes, I was. I was at the period where we couldn't afford to pay him. And after that, there was a question mark as well before he went to Milan, but it was in a position we didn't really need, you know. But it was always a pleasure to have him here, because his attitude, his behavior, he gained respect from everybody through his dedication and his commitment. And that's what, at the end of the day, no matter how strong a player is, what remains in your memory is his genuine commitment and dedication, and his natural humility he had always. That will stay forever. You forget sometimes, has he won this championship or that championship, but you never forget how he behaved. And that's a credit to him.
Arsene, there's a suggestion that you're close to or have already signed Yaya Sanogo from Auxerre. Could you clear that situation up?
It is not, we are advanced with him, but it's not done.
How close or how confident are you that that deal will go through?
I'm very confident.
What is it about him that you like?
He's a young striker who is promising and who has some talent, you know. Has a big talent.
You've been linked with, I know you've already answered about Wayne Rooney, that's a sort of persistent rumour. I mean, do you think Manchester United will sell him this summer?
I don't know. I don't know if Man United will sell Rooney, and that is the best sign to show you that we have not made any approach for him, because the first thing to do is to call Man United, what we did not do. So at the moment we are focused on Sunday. For Sanogo it's a big difference because he's free. He's not linked with a club, he's out of contract.
You said on Tuesday that if Arteta was out, you might push Jack to play 90
Yes.
minutes. I mean, is he capable, do you think, at the moment of playing 90 minutes?
I don't know. Nobody knows, basically. That's what we have to, one of the things I have to evaluate until Sunday, and to talk with him as well. He will have a final word in that, because you cannot force a player to play. He must feel comfortable, and I will only do that if he feels completely comfortable with the idea.
Is it a risk then that you might aggravate the injury? I know he's got surgery at the end of the season, that you might aggravate the problem. And
No. It's just the problem to deal with the pain. He can do that until now. I did it 15-20 minutes, you know. But we have to, I need medical advice, and I need advice from him before I make a decision. But we will see until Sunday.
Arsene, you said you couldn't afford David Beckham at the time. Could you afford Wayne Rooney if you wanted to?
That's not even a question at the moment, you know. We have not gone into that, and no.
Is that no, you couldn't afford him, or?
No question. We are focused on Sunday.
Can I just read you a quick quote? They are in a negative spiral in terms
You
of
must know his wages, apparently.
Well, he's on a little bit more than me, Arsene, but
I feel sorry for you.
We all do.
just really a quick quote. They are in a negative spiral in terms of results, and to be out of that negative spiral is extremely difficult. I'm sure you're aware who said those comments after you were beaten by Tottenham, AVB. Do you think those words might come back to haunt him this weekend? Because he seemed to suggest that what would happen and what has actually happened is completely the opposite.
It's always down to mental strength in our job and to quality. And we were maybe, for some period, had negative results, yes, but we responded. That shows that we have a mental strength and that we came back. I feel The championship was a bit strange in the recent weeks because very early the championship was decided, and some games were a bit more difficult than others. But overall, we have shown the attitude, the focus, and I'm convinced that my players will be rewarded because they have shown that mental strength through the different periods of the season. And I must give my players a huge credit because when we were under severe pressure, they didn't talk and worked very hard together in a united way, and that's why I want really them to be rewarded for that.
Was there any point in this season where you had a slight doubt that you maybe wouldn't achieve what you wanted to?
No, you never know, but you could see that mathematically it will be very tight. But I was convinced of one thing, is that seeing the attitude of the players, we will fight and come back. And I said that to some players, we will have a great second part of the season. And when you look at the points we made since the 1st of February, I think we are the best in the league. And that's down to the mental strength of the players and the focus of the players.
Arsène, Samir Nasri a été rappelé en équipe de France, après presque un an d'absence. Est-ce qu'on doit rappeler un joueur qui a eu des mots, des insultes envers des journalistes, un comportement un peu bizarre? Est-ce que tu penses de son retour en général? Est-ce que c'est la compétitivité qui va passer?
Je pense qu'il a été puni, et qu'une fois qu'un joueur a été puni, il n'y a pas de raison, à moins qu'il soit banni à vie. Donc les insultes, quelles qu'elles soient, envers un journaliste ou envers quelqu'un d'autre, ne doivent pas être plus sévèrement punis que pour une autre personne. Et sinon, je pense que c'est une bonne chose. Personnellement, je trouve que la France, je parle là sur un plan purement football, le jugement envers Samir Nasri a toujours été très très sévère en France. Et je crois qu'il a les qualités pour apporter de la créativité à l'équipe de France, qui en manque parfois dans certains matchs. Et je trouve que c'est une bonne chose qu'on lui redonne sa chance.
Quel est son vrai poste? Toujours une question, est-ce que c'est
Son
un
vrai
buteur?
poste est milieu créatif, libre, parce qu'il a la vitesse pour déborder sur le côté, il a les deux pieds, il est bon dribbleur, donc il peut jouer sur un côté. Et personnellement, je pense que en jouant avec deux milieux créatifs, il peut être celui qui joue sur le côté. Dans le futur, dans 3-4 ans, il jouera dans l'axe, mais aujourd'hui, je pense qu'il peut jouer sur un des deux côtés.
Arsene, how closely will you be keeping an eye on events at White Hart Lane? Because it will have a bearing on what the team does Sunday.
We will not listen to that at all. Certainly some members of my staff, I cannot control everybody, but I will just focus on us winning the game, because you will look after at the results of the other teams.
Quite refreshing for you to hear Paolo Di Canio come out and say that even though Sunderland are safe now, he'll cut short their holiday if they don't put in a performance for everyone.
Yes, I think that's credit to everybody, you know. You want everybody to play 100% until the last game of the season.